Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Between the Sticks. Glad you're joining us today. I got my Heisman picks for you. This is post week 11. The rankings came out 12 minutes ago, and I actually have not looked at them yet. But I will do this right after this video, and then probably later this week I'll get out a video about what I think about the CFP rankings for the week and what I think should be changed. So first of all, Heisman candidates, whether it's C.J. Stroud, Hendon Hooker, Blake Corum, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Will Rogers, Matt Dugan, any of those guys could be up for it. But these are my personal opinions, not like who I think, not the Vegas odds, not any of that. But leading off in no particular order, I'm just going to give you some stats from my top 5 guys. First, we have C.J. Stroud, Ohio State quarterback. He has 2,750 passing yards, is 18th in the nation, 34 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He is number 1 when it comes to throwing touchdown passes, which makes sense because of his wide receiving core. Absolutely studs. Then he's got a 67.1% completion rate, which comes in at 20th. But this is the real stat that sticks out. He's been sacked 7 times all year. That O-line has been keeping him on his feet, keeping him alive in the pocket, and helping him out when it matters most. Then number 2, we have Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker has 2,888 passing yards. He's got 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and which ranks 13th. Now, Hendon Hooker is a guy you got to look out for if Tennessee were to make the CFP. He'll probably get a trip to New York. I think that Hendon Hooker has the capabilities of leading them there, but we'll see what happens later on in the year. He has a 21.7% completion rate, which comes in at 3rd in the nation. He completes a lot of passes, a lot of deep passes, a lot of passes over 40 yards. He's 4th in the country, or Tennessee's 4th in the country on 4th down penalties, which sets him up at a disadvantage when it's going to be 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 1st and 25, 2nd and 25. And that will put a real big dent in the amount of opportunities he gets on 3rd down. Then Tennessee comes in at 8th in the country in rushing on 1st down. People think Tennessee, they think passing offense, passing team, real pass heavy, but really they rush more than half the time. 18th in the country. They are a run-first team. They run to set up the pass, which is actually the best way to set up the pass, but they come at you on the ground first, which means Hendon Hooker doesn't even get that many opportunities to get as many yards, which puts him at the top of the country. Then coming in at 3, we have Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan. Blake Corum has put up a lot of numbers, a lot of good numbers for Michigan. A reason they are at the top in the country, a reason they could be considered in the college football playoff. He's got 1,349 rushing yards. He comes in 3rd. He has 18 touchdowns, 227 carries, and 5.9 yards per carry. So Blake Corum gets the ball a lot. They like to involve him early. They like to involve him often, and a lot in the red zone. If JJ isn't throwing the short out route, he's handing the ball to Blake Corum. I think that Corum has a chance to win the Heisman this year, but with a lot of the good quarterback play, it probably won't happen. Then number 4, a guy I have really high on my list is Drake May, the quarterback from North Carolina. Kind of a dark horse coming into this year. North Carolina, dark horse coming into the year. But I think North Carolina is a sleeper team for the college football playoff. I think that they could end up beating Clemson in the ACC championship and making a path to the college football playoff. I think Drake May is going to be leading that team. He has 3,412 passing yards, which comes in at 3rd, 34 touchdowns, which is tied with C.J. Stroud for 1st, and he has a 70.1% completion rate, which is 6th in the country. Drake May has made a lot of tight passes, won a lot of close games, and he is going to make that that North Carolina offense really hard to beat, really hard to stop. I think that if they win the ACC championship, you have to consider North Carolina for the college football playoff. Coming in at 5, and this is where I'm going to stop the stat line after Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley are going to get it done in USC, especially this week against UCLA. I think they take the win. I think they move on. Maybe not to the CFP. I don't think it happens like that, but I don't think anybody from the Pac-12 gets in this year. But I think that Caleb Williams has a really big opportunity and can take USC to at least a Pac-12 championship. He has 3,010 passing yards, which comes in at 10th. He has 31 touchdowns, which is tied for third. He has a 63.7% completion rate, and which is 49th. He is not the most reliable player, but he is the quarterback, and he does lead that team to a lot of key wins, a lot of great wins, and I think that they get it done this week against UCLA. Now, a few guys that are slept on, maybe not in my top 5, is Max Duggan. TCU, they came off a big win against Texas. I think they go undefeated. I think they make the CFP. Maybe hinders Tennessee's chances in getting in, hinders North Carolina's chances of getting in, but I think they do get in. Will Rogers, quarterback, Mississippi State. I think that he could potentially finish out the season strong. I don't think he gets the call to New York, but I do think he is a high caliber player and is going to have a career in football for a while. Another guy that is really slept on because he is a Group 5 player. I don't think you could win the Heisman in the Group 5. You got to be Power 5. But it's Dwayne McBride, the UAB running back. UAB is a slept-upon team. They have a great offense, but he is playing against Group 5 opponents. He has 1,407 yards, 6.9 yards per carry, and 17 touchdowns, which all those stats are above Blake Corum except for the touchdowns, which he has one less. And that really stands out because he's the only running back that is averaging over 6.5 yards per carry that has over 200 carries, which is absolutely great. You give the ball to him, he's going to pick up first down after first down. Now, for my top 3, who I think is going to be in New York, who I think is going to get the call, I think is going to be number 1, CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud is definitely going to finish the year off strong. There's no reason that he won't get the call. I think number 2 is going to be Drake May. Drake May deserves to be there. He needs to be there. I think that the stats he is putting up this year and that he's going to lead North Carolina to that ACC championship, I think that is going to put him in New York. And then it comes down to Hendon Hooker and Blake Corum. I think that with Michigan, Blake Corum's really leading that team. But if Tennessee can get into the CFP, can really lock up that spot, it could be Hendon Hooker, could be Blake Corum, could go either way. But I'm going to have to give it to Blake Corum. I'm going to have to give the running back a call. I think they won't go 3 quarterbacks. I think they'll have a little bit of diversity in there and get a running back. So I do not think he wins the Heisman, though. I think it comes down to Drake May and C.J. Stroud. Ultimately, C.J. Stroud getting the nod from being Ohio State. A little bit of bias up there in the committee, but I think he gets the nod over Drake May, even though Drake May could deserve it a little bit more. But we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. And I hope you enjoyed, and go check out some more videos. But until then, peace.